These 3 mistakes make you sound like a beginner guitarist. This video will not be like any other video you've seen on YouTube covering this kind of topic. The first mistake is that you learn songs, not skills. What does that actually mean, to learn songs but not skills? First of all, absolutely learn songs. I'm not saying to not learn songs. Songs are so valuable when it comes to learning guitar. Absolutely learn songs. I'm not saying don't learn them. What I mean though by learn skills and not songs is that generally beginner guitarists, they learn the song, but then they don't learn any of the skills behind the song, so they don't actually understand what they're actually doing. They just heard some rando on the internet say, this is how you play the song, and they're like, okay. If you just continue with that mindset of just learning songs and not bothering with the skills, you're not actually going to improve as a player. Sure, you can play more songs, but you don't actually understand the instrument better. What I recommend you do is, after you're done learning a certain skill, or if you're in the middle of learning a skill, go and find a song that you like and learn how to play that involves those skills. So, as an example, when I was learning bar chords and triads, I was learning the song Sultans of Swing. I'm still practicing it now. It's been like 3 months since I started to learn it. But Sultans of Swing is such a good song to learn how to use triads and bar chords because there's so many of them. Like the main chord progression, D minor, C, A sharp, and A. 3 out of the 4 chords of the main chord progression are bar chords, and then it has a lot of triads in it as well. D minor, C, A sharp, and F. The reason this is important is that if you learn the skill first, or if you're in the middle of learning the skill, then you go and play the song that involves those skills, you gain an actual understanding of what it is that you're doing. You're putting the actual skill into practice and using it. Like with Sultans of Swing for me, this song was really beneficial because it helped me get my confidence up with the A string root bar chords, as well as using triads. Don't do it the other way around. Don't learn the song and then understand the skills behind it. We want to avoid this because in order to become a truly great guitar player, we need to understand what it is we're actually doing. And then once you understand the skill, when you start to play the song, you can actually identify when it is that you're using. Oh, I'm using a bar chord here. This is a F major triad. Once you understand the skill, you'll be able to identify the skill when you're learning songs. If you don't understand the skill before you start the song, you're sort of just going in blind. And if you're just going in blind, not knowing any of the techniques that are used, not learning from the song, are you actually even getting better then? When it comes to guitar, knowledge is power. Especially from a creative aspect. The more you know and the more skills you understand and are able to use, the more you'll be able to create. And the things you create will be better. The second thing that makes you look like a beginner guitarist is not having good timing or rhythm. Timing is so important. I cannot stress this enough. Having good timing or rhythm will take you from someone who sounds like an amateur to someone who people actually want to listen to. If you only have ambitions to play for yourself, you don't really want to play in front of other people, you don't want to play gigs, that's completely fine. But timing is still extremely important. Do not overlook timing in this. Timing will make your own sound better to yourself. Like the songs that you play for yourself will just sound so much better because it's all in time. It's such like a crisp feeling when you've got like a drum loop or something and you're playing over that and you're all in time, it's all running smoothly. It's just such a good feeling when it all meshes together and it sounds so good. I used to be one of the people who overlooked timing. I was like, who really gives a fuck about timing? It's not important, who cares? But once I started to actually pay attention to timing properly and actually practice it, everything just sounds so much better. I used to think that having good timing was just like something like paid musicians did. Like if you're a professional musician, then yeah, fine, you can have timing. I suppose that's a good idea. But that's completely wrong. Timing is for everyone. Everyone needs to understand timing and have good rhythm. I'm using the words timing and rhythm interchangeably because they essentially mean the same thing. When a musician is talking about, oh, you have really good rhythm, it's they're just saying that you have really good timing. Same as if they said that you have really good timing, they're saying you have good rhythm. It's your ability to stay on time and stay with the beat. I'll show you an example of this. So what musicians generally use to stay in time is called a metronome. It's essentially like a beat counter. When the metronome clicks, that's when it's the next beat. Okay, so you can hear that clicking away. So I'll play something that's in time and that's on the beat, and then I'll play the same thing when it's not in time. See how the second time I played it, everything was just like a little bit off. It didn't really sound as good as the first time because it wasn't on beat. When you're not playing in time and on the beat, it kind of just sounds like you're just noodling around, not really doing much. Especially if you're trying to like solo. Soloing without timing sounds like ass. I'm just gonna be honest, it does, it sounds like shit. Timing really is not that difficult to practice, especially if you use a metronome. Metronomes are extremely handy. What I recommend is to not always practice with a metronome. What I've found is when you first start working on your timing, that's when you should practice with a metronome. So you can actually like know where the beat is. Get your feet wet first with a metronome. And then once you're pretty good with the metronome, then move on to drum loops. There's this really good app that I use, it's called Drum Beats Plus. I've got an iPhone, so it's on like the Apple App Store. I'm not too sure if it's on Android, but there are thousands of like drum loop apps that you can use that all pretty much do the same thing. The one that I use has got all different drum loops in different genres. There's like blues, R&B, pop, rock, metal. There's also different time signatures like 4/4, 6/8, 3/4. I really like practicing with that app, especially if I want to practice in a specific genre, because it's got genre specific drum loops. Like at the moment I'm trying to learn blues, and it's got a lot of really good blues drum loops. Playing with drum loops is a lot more fun than a metronome as well. That's why I recommend it more, because it feels like you're actually like playing a song. Because if you're just doing with a metronome and all you hear is this, it's pretty boring. But with a drum loop, it feels like you're actually like playing with a band. Like it feels sick, especially when you're soloing, just like fucking shredding and you got the drums going on in the background. It's so much fun. I was full on like fucking grooving and shit and like half dancing to the drum loop while me playing over it. It was so much fun. I'm not sponsored by Drum Loops Plus to advertise them on my channel. I don't have the kind of clout for that shit. It's just a really good app. The third mistake that makes you sound like a beginner guitarist is not creating. I know this sounds weird, okay, I know. I personally believe that the true skill of a guitarist lies in their ability to create and improvise. For me, if somebody tells me that, oh bro, I don't create any music, I just play it for fun, I only play to play my own songs. Like, that's cool. Like, I'm not saying you have to create. Obviously, creation isn't for everybody. Not everyone's gonna want to be into creation. That's completely fine. I just think that if you don't create or you don't try to improvise or do your own thing with the instrument, you're just limiting yourself. You're trapping yourself in like a box of mediocrity. That's how I think anyway. If you disagree with me, that's completely fine. Like I said, not everyone's going to be into creation, and that's completely fine. I think that everybody should give it a go, because creation is like the most important aspect of music. Like it's how you express yourself, like with the instrument is creation. Like humans are meant to be creators. We create things, we innovate, we do things. We're not supposed to be consumers. Like to me, if you only play songs that other people have made, you're just a fucking consumer. Who do you think is actually a better player? The person who creates, writes their own music, experiments, or the person who just plays covers? Plays other people's songs that have already been made. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's all you want to do, that's completely fine. Turn off my video, tell me to shut up, write in the comments, or I hate you, whatever. That's completely fine. But realistically, it's the person who creates the music, let's be honest. Me personally, I think objectively that person is better. Like obviously it does depend on the situation. If someone's been playing for 20 years and they only play covers versus someone who's been playing for like a year but they improvise more, obviously the person who's been playing for 20 years is better. Like, I get that. It does depend on the situation, but generally, if you take two people who have been playing for the same length of time and one improvises and creates their own music and one just plays covers, generally 90% of the time the person who creates their own music will be better. Why is this the case? They're the ones who are really implementing the skills that they've learned, mainly because they're the ones who are making the most mistakes. Creating music is very difficult. You're constantly trying out new things, mainly making mistakes. That's a big part of creating music. Trying out one thing, realizing that it doesn't sound right, you make that mistake, but then you try to add to that and try and improve it. Whereas if you're only playing covers, you don't really get that. You're not really making a whole lot of mistakes because you're just trying to replicate what someone's already done. Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't play covers, okay? I love playing covers. I do. I love playing songs that I like to play. However, when you create your own piece of music and it actually sounds good and you're really happy with it, there is no comparable feeling in the world. It is such an incredible feeling. The way that you expressed yourself through the instrument, it's just, there's no words for it really. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, please like the video, subscribe, ring that bell. My name is Seth Webster. Appreciate you all for watching. I'll see you around.